Podcast here.
Yep.
You got
Another
Tristan.
episode. Jacob.
Aaron here.
Yep.
Well, technically, we did try one with him in the past, but this would be the first one that we're going to be putting up
Yeah.
that has Aaron in it. So, introducing our old buddy Aaron.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
We had one before, but Jacob's computer crashed and we lost the file for it.
yeah.
And I don't think we really planned on putting that one up anyways, but...
No, I was gonna put it up.
Were you?
Yes.
I don't feel like it was that good.
Man, it doesn't matter if they're good or not.
They're for us, mostly.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that makes
Like
sense.
we got over 8 hours
That makes
of
sense.
conversations
Mm-hmm.
recorded now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of fun. Just even if no one's listening, as far as a viewer, which
Yeah.
I could care less if there are.
So...
Or for us.
Great idea for a podcast.
Yeah.
So, Overwatch.
Some people will like it.
Yeah.
Aaron was talking about some Overwatch.
I was talking about Overwatch.
Yeah.
He's talking about how if
Leagues.
you don't know that there is now leagues being formed for Overwatch, and they're going to be by state. And if I'm not mistaken, it's like the top 50 players of the state or something like that are going to be in the league.
Yeah, I don't know how it works exactly. I think the leagues, like each person, like each state will just get to pick whoever from their region. I don't think there's any actual. I don't know if there's actually anything that is a requirement other than you being in that region and being really good at Overwatch. But the way that the ranking system is set up is that people who are in the top 500 in that region, they'll stand out with their own rank. So it should be pretty easy to identify some of the people who are going to be in there if you're looking. But I don't think I'll ever get that good. I'm in diamond rank right now. I just got there,
Dude,
so
that sounds pretty fucking cool to me.
I was placed in gold, and then I worked my way up to diamond, which is really hard. Everyone I was talking to who was trying to rank up kept complaining that they're only ranking down. So I must be doing something right. And they actually just came out with this new mode, 1v1 and 3v3. And it's instead of map objectives, now it's just elimination based, which is completely different for the game.
That sounds a lot to me, just like Trials from Destiny. Like they have a 3v3 game mode elimination.
Can I try drinking that?
Yeah. So yeah, and in 1v1, I've actually been winning like 95% of the times that I play that game mode, and that's not even an exaggeration. So I think I could, if I try hard enough, maybe I could get into a league. But
Yeah.
Thank you.
because I am really just demolishing people, like it's really sad. It's really sad. Like I didn't realize that people didn't know how to play the game. I am playing on console though, so I'm sure that the player base probably has a lower skill level than if I were on PC. I maybe not be doing as well.
Yeah.
PC, bro.
Yeah. I always hear people saying, like, when I see, like, videos of people playing on a PC game, that they say that don't play with a controller because someone with a mouse is going to be better than you. I don't think that's necessarily true.
I think it's definitely true. There's just there's a wider range of motion with a mouse than on a stick, so you can be more precise.
Yeah, but
That's why if you've ever used a web browser on a console and tried to use the mouse, it's just like not as easy as using an actual mouse. Like it becomes obvious. Like, have you tried that?
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not nearly as like convenient as just like a mouse. It's like even less than like a touchpad as far as precision goes.
Oh, I don't know if I go that far. I hate using my touchpad.
Well, I don't like it.
On my laptop, I can withstand, like, I understand that, like, analogy, but I feel like most people, even people who have played on computers maybe for most of their lives, are probably still not that great with a mouse.
Some of them are.
Like, there's definitely people that fucking kick ass with a mouse.
I mean, you will, like, whether you believe it or not, man, if you try to go on, it's specific games. Like a fighting game, it won't matter if you're using a controller or a keyboard. You can kick ass either way. But with something like a first-person shooter, because it acts like, since the reticle is almost like a cursor, like, and the mouse is designed for that, it's just more precise. That's why there's no aim assist in first-person games on PC, and there's heavy aim assist on consoles. It's just kind of the reality of the situation.
Very interesting.
No, but fighting games will do fine.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of precision that's required.
Yeah, first-person shooter is definitely probably the most.
Yeah, that's like
the highest level of precision.
That's where it's really noticeable. Even in third-person shooters, just shooters. But a third-person shooter, to me, like Gears of War, I feel like that was designed for a controller. And, like, everything else feels better. Like, even with less precise aiming, like, I'd rather play Gears of War with a controller. That just came out on PC.
Yeah.
On the Windows Store, which nobody has,
No.
so nobody's buying it.
Well, everyone has the Windows Store, but no one's going to buy anything off the Windows Store.
Yeah, everyone's always obsessed with buying things from Steam.
Which I don't even understand. I like GOG, good old gaming.
GOG is like the best games provider in my opinion.
Yeah,
they have even better business than Steam.
I love it.
And they give you a bunch of free shit with your games.
Yeah, they'll give you like these goodie packs. That'll be like a bunch of artwork and like like specific manuals for the game. They're awesome.
Oh yeah, I totally support like GOG. They don't do scummy business practice ever. Like
no.
Even Steam, like who's usually has really good reputation within their community, they recently came under fire because the whole CS:GO gambling controversy, which a bunch of YouTubers got in trouble and are maybe going to go. They might even see jail time for something like this because they're promoting gambling to kids basically, and that's how a lot of people are seeing it. And what they did is they made fake videos where they would win stuff on the gambling sites where they'd put up their guns that they got on CS:GO, and then they'd see if they could get better stuff. And all these guns have real world value because people have put that value on.
Yeah, like you sell them in like the Steam begins. Can't you like sell them like or trade them for like?
Yeah, you can trade them, and then there's like gambling sites where you can like put them up there, try to get something better or like whatever. And what happened is they made these fake videos where they kept winning and winning, and it turned out that they had ties to the creators of the websites.
Damn.
And then they lost millions of subscribers. They don't even. I don't think they even make YouTube videos anymore, but I know some of them don't.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a thing that like GOG like has never had any kind of scandal. Like they've always been good with their customers. Like they don't like all their games are reasonably priced on their site.
And when you buy it, you own it. I love the DRM free.
Yeah, GOG is awesome.
Yeah, like the only thing that Steam definitely has over it is like the workshop, because like there's tons of games that have awesome like modding capability, but it's almost impossible to access it without Steam.
Yeah,
which is a hell of a bummer. Like I feel like
they have Gabe Newell.
What's that?
Gabe, he's like the head of Valve and Steam, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
He has like a bunch of samurai swords that there's like hilarious. He's this big fat guy, and he just like poses with these samurai swords, and he has this big collection, and people like to make fun of him collecting swords. But no, people like he's just like a meme, pretty much. He's just a meme. People like him. People pretty much like him though. Overall, people really like him. They do like to make fun of him.
I was talking about this last night with Denny. Like, whenever I try to like explain to my parents what a meme is, like, they get mad, almost. Like I'll mention a meme, like, oh yeah, that's a funny meme, and like, what's that? I'm like, oh, you know all those like funny things that you see on Facebook that like have like a little like caption before the picture, and they're like, oh yeah, and I'm like, well, that's a meme. I'm like, what the hell does meme mean? I was like, I don't really know what it means, but that's what they're called. Like, and it's almost frustrating.
Yeah.
Like they just don't go with it like how the rest of us do. Like I've never really questioned why they were called a meme. I didn't care.
I know there's some like etymology to that. Like there's some reason that this is the case. I think it possibly predates the internet even.
Maybe.
I think it's like just a thing like culturally that has spread and like people know about like an image or like a phrase.
Yeah.
Like I think those are memes. Like I watched this video about like this old war. I think it was like a World War I meme, and like,
whoa,
yeah, or it was weird. It was just like a picture of a dude And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I
And, like,
figured
it was like all over the world and stuff.
that's crazy.
And I don't like that. Maybe World War II. It's definitely World War One or World War II. But yeah, just this little dude. I'm pretty sure he represented like the U.S. armed forces or just the Allies. And yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I figured memes were like some new thing for sure. They were just like some...
Internet memes are new.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could remember exactly where the memes came from. But
Like, I wonder if somebody has to be making money off those memes. There's so many of them on the internet. There's no way that people are just making these. Like, I'm sure there's tons of people that just make them, but somebody has to be thinking, how can I make money off of making memes? Because there's too many of them. Like, where are they all coming from?
Where did the blunt go? It's just fucking burnt out on the game case.
Yeah, Aaron. When Aaron handed me the blunt, it was completely, it was completely out. So I just set it down. But fucking UFC 205 was last weekend.
Yeah, that was some
That was
crazy
fucking
shit.
awesome. Conor McGregor made history,
Yep.
which I'm never gonna doubt him ever again.
Bullshit. Literally right after we watched, you were like, I should stop doubting him, but I'm never going to.
I just want to, because every time he does something, I'm like, there's no way he could do this. But then he does it. I'm just like, God damn it! And I think I'm just not gonna have to stop it because I thought for sure Eddie was gonna beat him. I figured Eddie would just take him to like the second or third round, where in the Nate Diaz fight, that's kind of where he started slumping in the second one. And I figured surely Eddie would just fucking pop him a few times in that round, and then it would be over. But no, Conor gets him in the second round TKO, and freaking his coach freaking called it on the MMA Hour. Like, I don't know how many days it was before the fight, but he said live on like this internet freaking show that Conor's gonna get the second round knockout on Eddie, and then sure enough it happens. So I'm done. I'm done doubting them.
Well, that's good to hear, dude.
Yeah. He's a badass. Aaron, do you watch UFC at all?
only when my friends are.
Man, you need to come over sometimes when we're watching it. We watch them all the time.
Maybe even go to UFC in Portland on December 11th.
Dude, that's not... Tristan thinks there's a UFC event in Portland on December 11th. He's sadly mistaken. It's a Flow Combat Submission Underground event that has John Jones and Dan Henderson grappling.
So?
It's not UFC. It has no UFC
Okay,
affiliation
well then-
whatsoever.
We could go to this underground fight, and it'd be cool.
Underground fight. That's just what the event's called. This is called a Submission Underground.
Then how is it wrong or silly for me to say this underground
It's not
fight?
an underground fight though. It's from Flow Combat. It's a Flow Combat fight.
Okay, then let's go to this fucking Flow Combat fight. God damn!
But they're not even really fights. It's all grappling.
So, what is this podcast about? Is it like about just whatever you guys are talking about?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's not a
It's
if
not.
if you had to put it into like specific categories, like if there's like, you know, like gaming, lifestyle, like fighting,
Fighting.
like sports,
I don't know.
like racing, like, you know,
Racing?
do you talk about NASCAR a lot?
We did once, actually. But I don't know.
I know nothing about NASCAR.
It's a very random show. Yeah, we only talked about it because there happened to be a story. Like when we first started doing it, our first few episodes, we felt it was really necessary to have something to talk about at the start of it. Like to have a subject. And now we just kind of go along and just talk. So, I don't know. I guess you could say it's a lifestyle in a way. It's our lifestyle. Like,
Shed Talk. You know what I was thinking when I heard that name?
what?
It seems like the kind of podcast that like Charlie Kelly from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia would be on. That's like, it's
I've
just
related
like,
myself to him.
that's what it feels like to me. Like he'd be on it with his bridge friends.
With his bridge friends.
Yeah, I can feel it. He's under the bridge doing a podcast with fucking T-Bone or whatever.
Bridge talk.
Yeah, dude.
That'd probably be the plot. That was the plot of an episode. They had a podcast.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
Well,
they did have it wasn't Charlie, but it was Dee and Dennis. But it was more like a Howard Stern kind of show. Like
yeah.
they were bringing on they brought on the waitress and they're like, oh, will you take your top off and drink this dirty dishwater out of a shoe? I don't think we do those things. We haven't done that. We haven't done that yet.
We'd have to have like a video podcast to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People will just be frustrated, like, I can't see shit.
Yeah, this isn't funny.
So I actually listen to and watch a shit ton of podcasts.
I do too. I love podcasts.
Like some of the best podcasts I listen to, at least as far as like content. Like I think, have you ever heard of the Baited podcast?
No.
That is it's a podcast basically about YouTube, which I watch a shit ton of, and so it's relevant to me. And like it has Keemstar on it, and Colossal's Crazy is another person, and then the third guy, who I don't remember his name because he's like way smaller than these other two guys.
Yeah.
Basically, it consists of these two people arguing like the whole time, and then this third guy laughing, and it's really entertaining. So like,
that's kind of how our podcast ends up sometimes.
Disagreements, like a podcast where everyone agrees with each other, is kind of boring.
Yeah.
So
there has to be conflict.
Yeah, we should get in some arguments.
Let's get in arguments right the fuck now.
Also, I listen to Lou Reads, which is a really obscure podcast with just one guy who reads things off the internet, and it's all just like really weird subcultures. Like he will read a forum. It's mostly forums and forum posts that he picks out, and it's from places like people who like to ejaculate in people's food and like watch them eat it and stuff without them knowing.
What?
That's like a fetish I didn't know about until I listened to that podcast.
It was also a fetish
and then
I didn't know I have until you just told me.
Yeah, and you never, like, if after you listen to that shit, man, you won't, like, look at people the same. You'll be like, man, what am I eating? Or, like...
What am I eating?
Like, other people, it's just weird shit, like, weird subcultures like that. Like, people who would, like, just hate women, or, like, another one where it's just, like, people with, like, shoe fetishes. Then there's, like, another one that was, like, super racist people. And then...
Boy, aren't there a lot of those people?
Yeah. And, so it's a really fascinating podcast, because, like, it's just, like, these really strange people, like, that are all into the same thing, talking about it, and then just, like, being an observer of it is just, like really... It's uncomfortable, but it's, like, I find it very entertaining.
Yeah, man.
He makes it funny, too. He has, like, this really good radio... He has, like, this really professional radio voice. Like, did you see that story about that homeless guy?
Yeah.
Who had, like, a really good radio voice?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
It's the same style. It's like, really professional.
Yeah.
And, I highly recommend that, too.
Oh, yeah, man.
And
now we're becoming a podcast about podcasts.
Yeah, I was thinking that, like, I could turn this into a podcast about podcasts. Coming in here. There's also another one I watched called...
This is premeditated.
Yeah, Co-Optional Podcasts, which is a gaming podcast this time. And,
This time.
and, that's a great podcast. It has, Jesse Cox, Dodger, Lay, and Total Biscuit, and a different guest, who's a YouTuber, just random gaming YouTuber, and they just talk about this stuff within the industry, and there's a section where they talk about all the games coming out that week, and yeah, it's a weekly podcast.
I actually listen to a podcast too. It's got usually like 3 or 4 dudes. One dude's name's Tristan, one dude's name's Jacob. We usually got a dude named Denny, like, talking to. Yeah, those guys, they get into some conundrums.
Maybe I should listen to that.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Admittedly, I've listened to none of your podcasts.
Oh, it's all good, man.
iTunes and SoundCloud.
Yeah, I need...
/ talking shit.
Send me a link.
Send me a link.
Just text me a link. I'll open it up and I'll listen to it.
Alright, man.
Yeah, man.
That'll be done surely.
And
Eventually.
And don't call me Shirley.
Jesus Christ. Aaron, have you seen Westworld?
no, I haven't.
You need to. It's amazing.
You do, man.
It's an amazing show.
Pay $40,000 to do whatever the fuck
What
you
is
want.
it?
It's
Exactly what I
it's
just said.
it's almost like a reboot, but it's almost like a reimagining of this old movie called Westworld, where it's basically an amusement park full of robots that you pay like $40,000 to enter, and you can do whatever you want. You could go catch bad guys up in the mountains, or you kill everyone in town, or just go have sex with like some hookers in the saloon.
Or you can literally do whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever the
You
fuck
can rape people. You can rape pigs if you want.
Yeah, you can do whatever you
Like,
want.
literally anything imaginable.
But like,
All the robots are like hyper realistic people.
yeah, like they look just like people. And
They feel sound. They have dialogues in multiple different loops they go off of.
Yeah, and the basic like premise is this is all going on, but then the robots start like remembering what's happening to them.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, so like
That sucks for them.
So like they start revolting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting pretty fucking good right now.
That sounds really awesome, actually.
It's really good. It's a great show.
That's really interesting. What channel is it on?
It's on HBO. It's like their new Game of Thrones. I think they're hoping it to be their new Game of Thrones, which I think it's already like this season's already better than the first season of Game of Thrones.
Everything that HBO makes is like really good, though.
I didn't really like The Sopranos.
Well, like high production value, like good quality acting.
Like, I'm sure if I was watching The Sopranos when it first like came on, I
Yeah.
probably maybe would have liked it.
I've never even watched it.
But
once.
trying to go back and watch it, I'm not into it.
It's hard to go back to
Yeah,
certain TV shows. Certain shows hold up really well. Like I'm actually in the middle of watching Star Trek. I'm on episode like 20 something.
I've never in my life had an interest in watching Star Trek.
Yeah, same.
I've been watching it, and I also watched the Twilight Zone.
Dude, yeah, I watched Twilight Zone.
It's very similar.
Is it?
Star Trek clearly took a lot of inspiration from Twilight Zone.
Well, yeah, William Shatner, he was on an episode. His episode of the Twilight Zone is honestly one of the most ridiculous.
It is. It's really ridiculous.
It is acting.
He's just hamming
He's
it out.
great. I love him. I love William Shatner.
He's really well. Yeah. Then why would you not have any interest in watching Star Trek if you love William Shatner?
I love him, but I have a love for Star Wars that I can't.
I like Star Wars too. What? You don't have to choose one.
But I do. But I do.
I totally disagree.
Argue about it.
Star Wars and Star Trek are two completely different things. Like, those are movies. This is a series.
Yeah, but they made some kind of shitty movies.
Well, yeah.
But so did Star Wars.
Like, I would say there's not that many good Star Trek movies, but it's better as the way that the show is, it kind of just works better as, like, a series. I think that's why it wasn't great movies, but...
I'll tell you what, I'll try this show.
I like it a lot.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
I'll try it.
You don't have to.
I will.
If you
will.
if you like the Twilight Zone, then there's no reason
I'll try it.
Because like every episode, the original Star Trek series, anyway.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try Enterprise.
It's not. It's not serialized, and it's episodic, which means that every story is its own every episode is its own contained story, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's very little that you need to know like happened before, after, at any time, or what's going. Like there's no like plot line through the thing. All it is that they're going around the universe and like exploring new life and finding new civilizations and stuff, and they get put on missions occasionally while they're traveling through, and sometimes they have to do things, other times they just run into things and things happen to them, and it's really entertaining. Like there's this one about this like ball of energy that it fed off of like warring states of mind, like, or if people had like hate in their mind and like bigotry as well, like it would just be like it would grow more powerful.
Jeez.
It was taking control of like all the computer systems on the ship, and it was like it was going to it was basically just gonna let them destroy themselves, and it teleported like a group of Klingons onto the ship, and then it also materialized a bunch of swords, like deactivated the phasers, and they had to go and like they were like battling with. It's entertaining as hell, man. It's like it's awesome.
I love that.
It's like
that's so hilarious.
Every episode, there's this one dude who is like a psychic kid who is just really bizarre, who's like turns out to be part of this alien race, and he starts putting the ship in jeopardy. And
oh Jesus Christ, dude! That episode of the Twilight Zone where the little kid, like, could fucking like kill people. Like with his mind.
Yeah.
That episode's crazy.
That is,
I watched that the other day, and like at the end when the dude's like flipping out, like somebody hit him over the head with something, and then he turns him into like a jack in a box.
Yeah.
And his wife like faints. She's like,
oh, that's such a good series. Eye of the Beholder is a great episode where this one chick is having facial reconstruction surgery.
Facials.
And everyone, it doesn't show anybody's face. In all the shots, it doesn't ever show face. In all the shots, like, it's either dark, so you can't see, or
it's like
below the neck.
Yeah.
And you can see her with her bandages all around her face, and you just hear the nurses and doctors talking to her. And it basically, like, from their dialogue, you realize that they live in this, like, almost Nazi Germany-like state where if you don't look a certain way, you are an undesirable, and you get sent off to an island, I believe, where other people who are like you or undesirables are all sent. And she was trying to get if they could fix her face, she would be able to stay in normal society, continue living her life as she was. But they unwrapped her face, and she has this like normal female. Actually, she looks like a model or something, like just really beautiful woman, and then it shows the other people, and they have pig faces.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, and
I love the Twilight Zone.
And then they send her off, and then she meets like this guy who has a normal male face, and then she's like she's like a little shocked by his face at first, but then they go off and they go to the island or just group that area they're contained to.
Are they considered undesirables?
Yeah, because in this world, like,
they're pig-like people.
The pig people are normal.
Yeah. Trippy.
So Eye of the Beholder, Beauty is an Eye of the Beholder.
Yeah, man.
That is a great show.
I love it, yeah. And I love that, like, Salvador Dali did, like, the original, like, fucking opening, like, artwork and stuff. And, it's just a great show, man.
That is an awesome show.
It's just a great show. Have you watched Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Again.
I just watched an episode of Black Mirror the night before last, and then tonight I just watched an episode of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, man, freaking. Have you been watching the third season of Black Mirror?
I've only watched episodes here and there from just like random selections.
What was the last episode you watched?
It was about this rating system that everyone had, where like it was a 1 through 5 rating, and like everything.
Oh, and it was the chick.
Everything was based off of that.
Yeah, that was the first episode of season 3. That was a pretty good one.
There was actually a real app that did that, and there's this huge controversy over it. I think it was in
Always Sunny did an episode like that.
They did?
Yeah, where they were dating, like they were doing like these dating things, and the women would rate them after the dates.
Oh yeah.
And Dennis gets fucking crazed because he's getting low ratings.
He doesn't get good enough ratings.
Yeah,
dude, that's right.
Yeah, that probably was. They probably did that in response to this real app that was.
That's like a thing. The thing about that is that's normal for like other things. I think like other social networking things, like people will be able to rate you right.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I think the closest thing you can get to rating somebody on the social network is like
thumbs up and thumbs downing their stuff.
Probably. I don't think. Can you thumb?
You
now
down.
You can put an angry face on Facebook.
Yeah, you can put angry faces, but you can't thumbs down.
Truth be told, I don't actually use social media.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know. But this app was specifically for just rating people. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't even anything else. It wasn't a dating app.
It was strictly just rating people.
Yeah, this isn't. I think this was like 2014 or 2015. It was released. These two like really catty women, like totally stereotypical person who you'd expect to do this. At least if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
This like they released this app and everyone hates it because they're like you can't reduce a human being to a rating between 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And then also it was just like basically a people would complain that it's basically just a platform for people to bully.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah, it's fucked up, dude.
And I agree, like, you shouldn't... even rating a video game, a book, or a movie on a 1 through 10 star rating is ridiculous.
It doesn't do it justice.
It's ridiculous because there's, like, so many different concepts and ideas and philosophies that can be expressed through those things that to just put it on, like, a rating...
Yeah.
Like...
That's why I hate Rotten Tomatoes.
Solid ratings, like that... They're not even that good. Like a review that's actually better would be something that explains why it's good
it's written
and
out.
what the things about it that are bad and what things about it are good. Like then you'll get a better idea of how good a thing is.
Yeah.
But I guess people just like I don't blame people at the same time because it's so much quicker to just look at the star rating and it's usually like somewhat accurate.
Yeah, I feel like people base
It's
it
at
on
least the
wrong things.
consensus. It's at least like normally the consensus, and like you can see that pretty quickly.
Yeah,
but I don't. I think that doing that to a person is like even more fucked up.
Yeah,
Doing
that's
that
fucking terrible.
Doing that to a piece of art.
But that episode of Black Mirror was like crazy.
No, yeah, that was
her friend who was really like a bully in elementary school or whatever, like growing up, like just out of the blue is getting married, and she's hoping to get more of a rating because your rating's almost like your credit. Like if you have a good rating, you can get a nice apartment. Like if you're freaking above like 4 something stars, and she's like barely not there yet, so she figures, oh, I'll freaking go to this chick's wedding and stuff, and then all of a sudden she just starts getting fucked up by like just normal like life shit.
Yeah.
Like, you miss your plane, and you fucking get pissed off at the airport, and then a bunch of people, like, rate her bad, and then she's fucked, and then they give her, like, the airport security gave her, it was like a temporary suspension.
For 24 hours, she got double, the down ratings affected her doubly for 24 hours.
Yeah, and for that 24 hours, she lost a whole star. She lost a whole star until the 24 hours was up, and then they would give it back to her.
And then she meets the one nice, not completely judgmental person, and they don't even give a shit about their rating. Like everyone else is like screwing her over because she doesn't have a good rating. Like everyone else is giving her shit for it, or like screwing over directly. And then this one person she meets who picks her up when she's hitchhiking actually helps her. She doesn't even give a crap about her rating.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like, you shouldn't really care what people's perceptions of you are, and, like, it's pretty, like, to that level, like, that minutia, it's like torture for anyone. That'd make you so self-conscious to be thinking about that all the time. That would suck.
Oh my god, yeah, like, if it was that serious, like, if you couldn't really get a good place to live, if you couldn't get
a good job, probably nothing.
If you had to be like, oh my god, hey, to everyone that walked by you.
You'd have to be a truck driver.
Yeah, you had to be a truck driver.
It's like almost like a caste system.
It is.
Almost. Except there's like people decided instead of it just being set like at birth or whatever for bullshit reasons. Yeah. Like I guess people are still deciding it, but in this sense, like it's less for arbitrary reasons and more for like.
I guess like she got a bunch of down ratings for being pissed off. She missed her flight.
It's not arbitrary, but it's based off of people's perceptions. But people's perceptions are like always going to be flawed. Like no one is completely objective.
Yeah.
God damn it!
What? Miranda shows up to the podcast. Hey, Miranda.
What?
So yeah, again, Black Mirror's great. You need to watch more of season 3.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's people compare it to Twilight Zone all the time.
It's very much like that, except it's all about like technology.
Yeah,
It's nothing but technology.
yeah, and I feel like it's got a different tone. It's very similar, but it's more modern.
Yeah.
It feels very different than watching the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, but it's
different vibe.
But it's probably the closest thing you could.
It's a pretty good analogy.
Yeah, it's the closest thing you could compare it to that's been out before. But they had a really good episode in season 3 where they kind of like normally what they do. All the stories are about how technology could be used like in a bad way or a way that was like used to hurt other people. But they did one. It was episode 4, San Junipero, where like technology was used in like a great way to like bring people together, and it was really cool. Like it was very like heartwarming. It was nothing like any Twilight Zone episode I'd ever seen before.
Well, I'm glad that they showed that side of technology too, because that means that it means they know that it's like a tool that can be used for good or bad. It's not just a bad thing.
Yeah,
but I can tell they're probably pretty intelligent from the episodes I've watched so far.
Yeah,
people who make the show or like whoever's writing it.
The episode right after the one you just watched, called Playtest. It's great. It's about this American he's like left his house. He's like living with his parents where he leaves and he's going on some trip around the world, and he winds up in like England, and it's like he's gonna be going home in like a week, but he runs out of money, so he needs to like do some odd end jobs, and he has some app that like you can use wherever you're at, and it's almost kind of like an Uber or like an Airbnb thing, except it's for like little odd jobs to go work for people. And he finds like one to do like a play testing for some game company, and it ends up like being crazy, trippy, like virtual reality, like less virtual but more like augmented reality, and it's just a really good story. I highly recommend watching that one.
Did you say that was episode 2 of season 3?
Yeah, it's called Playtest. That's probably my favorite episode so far.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it. I mean, I play so many video games that would be pretty entertaining, I'm sure.
Yeah. When you play video games, like before I watched it, I had a very like optimistic view of like virtual reality, and I was like, but then after watching it, I was like, I don't know. Same with like the episode. Like there was another episode that made me think that too, but it wasn't used as like a video game, but it was like augmented reality.
Augmented reality, right? I mean that'll be weird.
Yeah.
When everyone has Google Glass and contacts and stuff.
But this is like beyond that, like implanted into your
implanted in your brain, right?
Yeah. Because I feel like when you have something on that's doing it, it's less real.
You kind of detached.
Yeah. Like
even if it's integrated into your mind, then it's more personal.
Well, yeah, like you have nothing external that's like disturbing you, so I feel like it would just trick your mind into more thinking it was real. Because when if you have something on where you know that it's going to be giving you this sensation,
that's true.
I feel like you'd be more aware to it, and it would freak you out less.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely.
With that being said, I think a fucking horror game on Oculus Rift has got to be fucking terrifying.
Dude, that would be crazy as fuck.
I can't even play a fucking horror game normally.
Really?
Like I can play it, but goddamn, I'm on my I
You're on edge.
I love horror movies, but what's great about a horror movie is that it slowly builds up when you go and play Outlast. Right from the get go, you're just
constant barrage of horror.
Oh yeah, you're just constantly just like skin like crawling.
Yeah, I played the first part of that game. I never got too deep into it, but
yeah,
I played the first part, and then I was at a friend's house and played part of the end.
Yeah, I've seen some footage of like
It was all the same though.
The last DLC that they did, and it was pretty interesting. It was kind of weird. There's like dudes with guns like shooting you at the end and shit.
Yeah, actually, I don't really like that game that much just because of the gameplay. I don't find it very engaging. Like, I can see that it is a good game, and like I respect it as like a good horror game, but I can't personally get into it because I just feel like I get tired of hiding Like it becomes like
Oh,
old.
yeah.
Like it becomes monotonous to me, and like I wanna like do something. Like I want to do something about it. I don't want to just sit by and hide and just. I don't know. I just feel like it gets monotonous for me.
That's what I loved about the PT. And I can't believe that's not going to be a thing anymore. It's so
It's too
sad.
bad.
But luckily you still have the trailer, don't you?
I
Uh-oh.
don't.
Oh, God.
The thing is I got rid of it because I needed space before I got my 2 terabyte hard drive, and I went to go download it, and it was the day they took it off the store.
Damn.
It was
terrible.
the very day that I couldn't download it again.
That's terrible. But what was great about that was that there was maybe like 1 or 2 moments where there was like a jump scare.
That was an awesome.
And then the
game.
rest
It was, like,
of it,
really good build
it was
up.
like the atmosphere.
Like insanely good build up.
Yeah, like the atmosphere, like the voice on the radio talking, and just like
It's a trip.
almost like the Groundhog Day-esque like thing, just going through the same hallway over and over again. But every time you go through it, it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, it's really good, like psychological horror.
And I think that's the best.
It's
type of
not
horror.
lazy at all. Like they totally. I'm sure they spent hours like thinking up this like how exactly to fuck with people the hardest.
Yeah, and I haven't watched much of like the Resident Evil 6 beta thing, but that looked very similar. Like they were trying to kind of feed the feeling of what PT was given.
Yeah.
Like at least as far as from that little trailer I saw, I think it was like at
Yeah.
E3 or something.
I think it's gonna be. I think they're going for a similar vibe, and I think they're kind of banking like on people that people will want that, and that's why they're providing it.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it's gonna be as good as that trailer was. But
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to make a really good game if it's that short and that like self-contained.
Yeah.
So like that was like a phenomenon. That was like
Yeah.
a huge
But
thing in the gaming world.
yeah, but it was I can't remember I never remember that dude's name, the actual developer, but him and Guillermo del Toro, who's like one of the best freaking directors ever. Made Pan's Labyrinth. He made that new movie Crimson Peak, which was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like he's a great person for like weird, like trippy, like horror-esque like things. So I feel like if they just did something even without it was Konami, right?
Was it?
Was it?
Was it?
Because they like totally did away with everything that he was involved with. That developer, like they had a huge falling out.
What was his name? Hideo Kojima, right?
Yeah.
He was the one behind Silent Hills. I
Uh-huh.
didn't even real. That totally makes sense. I just totally forgot that.
Yeah.
That makes sense though, because it was right about the same time where that happened. They had that big falling out that I heard about.
Yeah, and now like he's like doing his own development thing now, and him and Guillermo said that they're still working.
There was actually
not on PT.
a really good artist, Japanese artist, who does really like classic horror manga, and I actually have a bunch of short stories by him, and I'm trying to remember what his name is. It's I think it's like Shinji something. I'm trying to remember his name, but yeah, he's a great artist, and like he was on that too. And I've read some of his stuff, and it's really good. Like
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's really good.
Do you know what like the
actual monsters and stuff? I don't remember the name of that book, but the actual monsters that he creates are really like trippy and freaky looking. So like if they were gonna use like his monster designs in that game, that would have been terrifying, and they would have been unique too. They wouldn't have just been like standard monsters that you'd see in any other horror game.
Yeah, that trailer was insane.
Yeah, he has this one series about like fish, and like they're just like horror fish.
Horror fish?
Yeah, they're just like these crazy,
like piranha, like the movie Piranha.
Yeah, except like they like come up on land.
Oh shit!
Because they like shit pops out of them and like it's like legs and like crawling around and like there's just like sharks and shit and
talk about my worst nightmare.
And Yeah, they just like crawl around on like these spider legs, basically. They just look fucking crazy and all like deformed.
Yeah, you're gonna have to relay the name of that book to me because I want to find that.
Dude, I'll let you borrow it.
Jesus, you guys have floated this fucking podcast for so long, dude.
I know, man. You've been very silent the whole.
I just
the whole
haven't had
time.
anything to say. Like, you guys were talking about a whole ballpark that I don't know much about.
I totally feel you. That's how I felt when you guys just started talking about UFC. I just went silent because there's literally nothing I can add to that conversation at all.
You need to watch some of it with us.
I will watch. I find it entertaining. I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast.
I love his podcast.
I listen to that all the time.
Do you listen to his Fight Companions?
If I watched the fight, I would. That'd be ridiculous.
You don't need to watch the
Really?
fights.
They're that good?
It has nothing to do with the fights at
What?
all. They're like the funniest fucking things in the world. They're better than the normal podcast. Like the normal podcast is great,
Fuck.
and he'll have things that are like obscure people that you may not know about that are talking like really interesting shit. But that podcast is just straight up like hilarious, like guys just hanging out, getting drunk, like watching some fights.
Wow.
But they don't even talk about the fights hardly at all.
Every now and then they'll like flip out, like, oh, watch
Yeah,
the
like,
head kick.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to listen to that.
Yeah, they're great.
I love Joe Rogan's podcast, and I actually watched. I never thought his stand-ups were funny, but he has this new one that it was
On
just
Netflix?
put up on. Did you watch that?
No, I haven't watched it yet, but it's called Triggered, right?
Yeah, I thought that was much better than the other ones
Yeah.
that I've watched parts of that I couldn't even get through. Like he seems like he's gotten much better as a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
At least
I don't know, I've always loved this comedy.
really.
Yeah, I've always loved it.
I think he's a better podcaster than comedian.
We listened to a lot of Joe Rogan Experience when we were on our way up to Portland.
Dude,
Yeah.
fuck yeah! I want to go with you guys on a trip sometime.
Oh yeah, man, that was to the UFC.
Yep.
Again, that was amazing.
It was just late at night, and we dropped off my fiance in a different city, and we were going to a different one. So
Great.
we were just driving down the middle of the fucking highway, middle of the night, just lonesome. So we needed music, but we didn't want to listen to music. So the Joe Rogan Experience just kind of faded in. It was great.
Yeah, I love that show.
We should take my vehicle if we go on a trip too. It has such good gas mileage.
Nah, dude.
We wouldn't have to pay anything.
Did you guys hear him?
I heard him.
All right, we don't have to take it, but
We'll just
I'm
drive.
down.
We'll just drive my family car again,
But
but I'll cover gas.
really,
Yeah, we're not gonna take my Mustang.
yeah, no, that would probably.
dude, that would have sucked. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a baby in the car plus his
We
fiance.
would never have done that trip with all those people on my Mustang. It's a Mustang. It's a 2-door car. The back seat is literally so small.
How come
My driver's seat goes almost to the back of the car.
How come have they ever made a 4-door Mustang?
No,
That'd be epic.
that would be weird.
It would be bizarre.
It'd be epic. A fucking 4-door muscle car.
Dodge Charger.
Yeah, but
That's a muscle car.
fuck a Dodge.
But dude, that's one of the original fucking muscle cars right
Who
there.
cares? It's a Ford.
Ford. They made like the first car.
Yeah, exactly. They made the
gives a
first car.
fuck?
They're obviously better at this. They've
No,
had more experience.
I'm kidding. I actually know nothing about cars, and
No, I don't
I'm just
either.
talking out my ass right now.
I know just about nothing about cars. I watched a little bit of Top Gear, but not for the information about the cars whatsoever. Like Top Gear was great just for the three of those guys freaking chatting it up. The Grand Tour's coming on soon. Is that towards the end of this month or freaking? That's gonna be great. It's essentially the British Top Gear coming back
Oh,
because they got one of them got fired from Top Gear, and then the others were like, well,
Yeah,
fuck
Jeremy
you.
Clarkson punched the producer in the face. They fired him. Then they were like, James May, Richard Hammond, you guys can continue the show, just you two. And they were like, well, we're kind of a pair. We've all been together for like years upon years. Fuck you. We quit too.
Well, actually, James May, he wasn't even there at the beginning.
why
Yeah,
you punch him in the face?
because they'd been on set for a really long day. And normally the producers cater to all the crew and shit so that the crew has food. And so they were like, yeah, you guys are on your own. And Jeremy Clarkson was like, well, that's not right. They've been working their asses off all day. and like started talking to the producers, and they were like, "No, you guys are on your own." And so we got fed up and punched them. And by the way,
a little short tempered, I'd probably say.
That seems like an overreaction.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there, but
it wasn't like straight up like, "Oh, you're putting food out, punch." No, it was like it got into a heated argument, and
oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm like I said, I wasn't there.
like led to another thing, and
I bet they have a history. If him not getting food that one time caused him to punch him in the face. There's probably like a story there.
Apparently, the producers have just been treating the crew like shit for like months now.
Yeah, see, like that's what I thought. There's probably more to it than just that one incident.
Yeah,
but I'm still just stuck on the Ford made the first car thing. Actually, on the contrary, first car was made by Carl Benz.
And where
does that ring a bell? It's from Germany, so.
Actually,
Mercedes Benz.
What was this car running on?
It's that. Yeah, it's 100%.
I honestly
search it up right now.
I honestly.
Like
I said, I even prefaced what I said with "I'm talking out of my ass" because
I believe Americans have been perpetrating a lie.
I don't know.
Carl Benz. Exactly who
Ford
invented the first automobile is a better
manufacturer.
It's a matter of
in the
opinion.
States.
If we had to give the credit to one inventor, it would probably be Carl Benz from Germany. Many suggested that his first true automobile came from 1885 or 1886.
So it's that didn't sound so concrete.
So like I said, I think Ford is just the first like manufacturer of cars in the United States. Like
it sounds like no one has a great idea on who was like the first one to think of it.
Maybe I invented the first car.
Thank you.
I wouldn't go that far.
Thank you.
Did you go back in time, Aaron? Are you a fucking time traveler?
Maybe I did. Maybe I have a hot tub time machine.
Yo, let me dip in that.
Jesus.
For sure, let me take a dip in that hot tub.
Yeah.
Not because I want to go back in time. I just want to take a dip in a hot tub.
Yeah. It's not full yet.
And it's I guess it's kind of the time, but I for sure would not. Aaron's like, it's time.
We need to fill that thing pretty soon.
Anyways, I need to go inside. It is getting late.
It is. Why do we always do these so late? You know, we could do these a little earlier.
Well, I'll just hit you up a little bit late tonight.
Like we always decide, yeah, let's do one of these podcasts. Like, what time is it? Oh, 10 at night? Okay.
Yeah, seriously, huh?
But, I don't know. I feel like they're probably a little more fun this way.
Exhaustion sets in for me. Because
Really?
I've been awake since 5 a.m.
Wow. Yeah, you need to get some rest, man. I would be dead if I were you. Taking care of a baby.
Perks of having a kid, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, man. That's the beauty of bringing life into this world.
Most definitely. You know, being awake for however many hours that is.
Well, definitely over, 16, I'd probably say.
It's like too many. I don't know how many.
Just too many, yeah. Alright, so yeah, this has been
podcast.
This has been a good one.
No shit, it's been a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh shit. Tristan here.
Yeah, and Jacob.
Air.
Yeah, so we'll see you next time.